Pudding prepares to deliver her deadly kiss, and the plan to assassinate Big Mom officially kicks off. Watching this episode of One Piece was like watching the lit fuse on a stick of dynamite. You're just waiting for something to explode, and you know it's gonna get real messy. And that's exactly what this entire episode was all about. It was a massive build-up to the moment where Pudding was going to try and kill Sanji. And of course, everything goes completely wrong, and Luffy makes his big grand entrance in front of Big Mom, and he brings a couple of his friends with him who look a lot like him. These are all thanks to the special abilities of Brûlé the Witch. It looks like they brought some animal friends along, but really this entire episode is just about the anticipation, waiting for that moment, and it was palpable throughout. I really enjoyed this episode. It wasn't the most, exciting episode of One Piece, not that much actually happened, but man, just waiting for that moment was awesome. Not to mention, we finally got a little more backstory for Pudding, getting to see that as a child, she was completely ostracized by everyone and bullied because of her third eye. Not only did the local children think she was a freak, but so did her very own mother, Big Mom, which you can definitely tell has affected her in a very harsh way and has basically turned her into something of a psychopath, which is very common for a lot of Big Mom's children. You can see that despite the fact that she's Big Mom, she's not a very good mother. And the scene where she finally reveals her third eye to Sanji is very surprising, as this is the moment where Sanji is supposed to be shocked. But because he's in love with everything that is woman, he believes it's one of the most beautiful eyes that he's ever seen, and Pudding just immediately breaks down in tears. And this is where the plan starts to go awry. Big Mom signals to the priest that he's going to have to try and shoot Sanji, but thanks to Katakuri's ability to see into the future, he sees that Sanji is going to dodge. He flicks one of his jelly beans at him and ends up killing the priest, and then suddenly Luffy and all of the Luffy clones just explode out of the cake, shocking everyone, ending this week's episode in a really great cliffhanger fashion that the One Piece anime series is known for. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Piece? Very simple episode. The first half is basically all about the cake, and the cake actually coming in is a really great sequence because, again, it's musical, it's filled with all sorts of ridiculous Candyland-esque imagery, not to mention we get to see Strusen, the head chef, who is a surprisingly important character, so make sure to pay attention to him. He's the one who actually constructed this titanic cake of epic proportions, which pretty much towers over everything, and even acts as the altar for the wedding, which I think is a nice touch, getting to see the bride and groom at the top of the cake. It's really great, and everybody's reactions to it is exactly what you would expect it to be. It's just amazing. It's unlike anything you could possibly see. I wonder what the cake actually tastes like. Probably pretty freaking good. But basically this episode is just a build-up to the chaos. The chaos that is going to ensue in the next couple episodes is going to be really fun to see, especially the way this episode ended. And even when I was reading this in the manga, I have to admit, even in the anime, I am just so angry at Luffy for sleeping this entire time and almost ruining the plan completely by just sleeping through the entire event. Of course, he is brought back to life thanks to the power of anime meat, which is just a giant bone with meat attached to it, but it does give him the power to wake up and bust out at the very end. I love that they actually put the mirror inside of the cake so they could simultaneously destroy it while making a big flashy entrance that's going to confuse a lot of different people. The image of Luffy and all of his clones busting out, eating the cake, and just freaking out all at the same time is a really great image. It's one of those iconic moments from One Piece that I'm always going to remember, if only for how distinctive it actually does look. Like I said, it just has that classic feeling to it. Really, though, this entire episode is just build-up, but man, it is some pretty fantastic build-up, especially with the amount of confusion from Big Mom's family at the end. You'd think they would have come up with some sort of contingency plan if Pudding decided not to do this. They're all sort of like deer in the headlights, like, what should we do? Should we try and kill him? Is there something else we can do? We gotta make sure to take out Germa 66 as well. They're right here. They made sure to strategically put all the Germa members, like, at this one table that's surrounded by all of, like, these super powerful higher-ups in Big Mom's family and crew. So basically, they're just putting them on their deathbed, but getting to see Luffy and his friends all finally team up at the end and bust out, that's really the best thing about this episode. And, of course, that cake sequence, which was insane. And if you just want some laughs and you want to see a lot of Sanji's ridiculous expressions, then this is definitely the episode for you. Also, Pudding. She's a really important character in this episode as she's revealing a more vulnerable side of her character, as well as revealing what she truly is like. I mean, she's a really great actor, and, now we're finally getting to see a different side of her we've never seen, but she still has a lot of resentment towards Sanji, but let me just go ahead and say that we're going to be on one heck of a roller coaster with Pudding. It's going to be great. As far as production value goes, this was a pretty decent-looking episode of One Piece. If anything, it's just really colorful and fun to look at. The characters are so varied and ridiculous, and I think the musical sequence was probably the best-looking thing about this episode. That maybe the final scene where Luffy and his friends are just busting out of the cake and everything. It's just really solid stuff right here. But from this point on, things are going to get insane. I had a feeling that they were going to drag this episode out, though. I was kind of hoping that maybe they would get through it halfway and we'd finally start to see some of the chaos that's going to be happening. But no, they're going to reserve that for the next episode. It makes sense, as this arc in the manga, while it is almost over, is still ongoing. So it's really close to the actual source material at this point. So there's still a lot of other big things which are going to be coming, and a lot of really big surprises. So make sure to stay tuned. This is going to be a really crucial point to start watching One Piece, as from here on out, it's almost just non-stop fighting and awesome backstory and all types of really cool surprises. So, can't wait to see more of that, and I can't wait to see more of Katakuri as well. Man, what a cool freaking character. I loved him in the manga. I'm loving him just as much in the anime version. He's already like one of my favorite villains from the whole series. So, that's my thoughts on this episode. It was a little long-winded, and they dragged a lot of things out, but as far as just the anticipation of the episode and the overall spectacle of the cake in that final moment, I'm giving this episode a 4 out of 5. That's my thoughts on this episode of One Piece. I would love to get yours. Make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. Did you like this episode? Not like this episode? What did you think of that massive cake? What flavor do you think it actually is? And what do you hope to see from the rest of the bloody wedding arc of One Piece? Let's start a discussion in the comments section, guys. Thank you very much for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more awesome anime reviews. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.